Good evening and welcome back to Ralph's house. Yeah, so as you can see, I've closed off the shed at last, and I've just got some roofing sheets to put on, just so I've got this slight overhang this end. Got my first camera mounted up, and I shall put a sign up there as well, which hopefully is a bit of a deterrent before they even decide to break in, but we'll see. Put some guttering in, all these clips and stuff, you can get all these at DIY shops. I only went to Tool Station because, to be honest, it was the cheapest of the lot and all good quality. Main thing is to get a decent run, so I used the spirit level to me. I forget what the actual pitch is supposed to be, but as long as the water runs one way reasonably quickly, it should be alright. And I don't have any I don't have any downpipe at the moment, only what was laying around the garden, so I've sort of just directed it onto the garden for now. Yeah, you've caught me putting up a nesting box. That's for next year actually. Be too late for this year's nesting birds, but I thought, well, good place, because it's going to be right under that cover, because there'll be more roofing sheets each side, a bit of an overhang here, and which should shrug off the rain, so that box should last a bit longer. They do tend to rot out, don't they? Yeah, so that'd be nice. If any birds want to take that on, it's all yours. Home sweet home. I've been doing some runoff tests for this guttering. I don't know if this meant to be a special pitch, but I got it horizontal and then just gradually lifted it up until I got just about the right amount of run for the water to run off. I'll give it its due, since I've bitumened this asbestos. It does run off pretty quick, but I can't get to do the rest of it until we get about 4 or 5 days of quite warm weather, so this is really dry, and then I can get the rest of this side done. Other side I can't really do until later in the year, and that's all to do with replacing the rest of the fence in the other side. And see all these shrubs, I need to cut these down, but at the moment there's still birds in there with chicks and stuff like that, so I'm not really going to disturb those. But when I get to the tail end of the year, I'll cut all that back, get all the rest of this roof, the other side, painted, and reinstate the guttering that side. See, when my dad lived here, what he did, he combined both lots of guttering, the guttering that side and this side, joined them up with a bit of Heath Robinson affair, but anyway, it kind of worked, and directed it all into a rain butt. But I think I've got enough rain butts in this garden, you know what it is. But as droughts come along, maybe these things are important, but not at the moment. My main priority is keeping everything dry, so everything I've got in this shed will stay dry. And every time it rains, I come out and see if there's any damp patches to get an idea of where it's coming in. It's certainly not coming through the roof, but it comes in through the base of this, through the joints, that sort of stuff. But gradually I'm getting that sorted. Same with sorting out all the putty around here. I need to chip some more off, get this done, reseal this glass as well. Not that it's coming in through the glass, but it's getting on a bit in age now. But otherwise, yeah, it looks all good, doesn't it? We've got an overhang which sort of shrugs off quite a bit of the weather, and I've got a different CCTV camera to go up there. It'll go up much higher, and it'd be quite interesting to have one that points at the nest box, wouldn't it? So you can watch them going in and out. I may just put one inside the box. Cookery Corner. Yes, welcome back to Cookery Corner. It's been a while, isn't it? A bit more elaborate today. Tell you what we did. Peel some potatoes. Slice them up as if you're going to make a potato au gratin. So, I don't know, 7 to 10 mil thick slices. Blanch those, so just run them in boiling water for about 10 minutes, no more than that. Set those aside, and take a saucepan and with a little oil in the bottom, and put in some chopped up bacon, much as you think you need in a dish like this. It's really for flavour more than anything else. And you can add spring onions, or as I did, chives. Stir those around. Then add 4 good heaped tablespoons of plain flour, and stir that around, and then gradually add in a pint of milk or more. Depends. You stir it, see how thick it gets. If it's a bit too thick, add a little bit more milk, and a little salt and pepper. I also added some thyme and some dill, but you know, it's optional what you put in it. Put all the potatoes in the unproofed dish, and pour on the sauce. Turn over all the potatoes so they're all coated. Little grated cheese. Oh yeah, I did put a little bit of grated cheese in the sauce, by the way, to start with. And then finish off, grate some cheese on the top of this. Put it in the oven. 30 minutes should do, with tin foil on it to cook it through. Then another 30 minutes with the foil off, and serve with optional Yorkshire puddings. There you go. So that's Cookery Corner.
Cookery Corner.
Well, this is pleasant. It is. I'll tell you why it is, because this is the first time in, let's think, nearly 18 years that I've ever managed to start getting all my tools together. And I'm on the inside of the former garage now, and my dad had loads of this stuff. If you're ever going to put up shelves anywhere, well, all right, the missus may not find them very attractive, but these are really strong. They will take a hell of a weight. And he had a lot of this indoors because he used to store sheet music, my father. And when I say a lot of sheet music, it filled a room, and it went from floor to ceiling. It took us a long time to get it all in the skip, with great sadness, I have to say, because it was his lifetime collection. Music was his everything to him. Wow. Fabulous. But of course, you know, as things happen when people die, you end up throwing a lot of stuff away, and it's not easy to do, but it's something you have to do. Anyway, I've recycled those, and my fabulous brother-in-law Steve brought these over, because I think the original intention was we were going to use them for floorboards, and I might yet still, but they're not quite wide enough for that. But what they do make is brilliant shelves in here. So that saved me on some wood. Good result, Steve. Yeah, so that was good. So now, finally, I can kind of get all this stuff together, and my pillar drill and various other tools that I've got. And I can really start to kit this place out then, which will be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, my pullers. You know, I'll tell you what, if you ever get a job where you need one of those, nothing else will do it, will it? Yeah, and getting all the screws together, and just about everything else. And I've got boxes of VW Beetle parts which are going to come in handy. If not this year, they're going to come in handy next year. But lots of stuff that because I still need to get a compressor for in here. I've got one for my airbrushes, which is great. But I need a reasonably good sized compressor that's not too much money, so I can run my air tools like I've got a shot blaster kit that I bought at least 5 years ago, never got around to fitting. Big box of bolts and a 3/4 drive, which you need for removing the flywheel nut and hub nuts on Volkswagens. I've got both sides as a socket for that. Otherwise, I've got an awful lot to sort out here and working out where it's going to go. Somebody asked about these silencers. I forget what they're off. They're off of Kawasaki, I think. But some years ago, when I was taking the exhaust off my camper and struggling for hours and hours and hours, and getting pretty fed up. And by the end of the day, I thought, I'll leave this as it is. And as I often do, I'll go to bed and I'll sleep on it, and I'll just sit there and think it through. And then I concluded that it would make more sense to change the pipework on the camper to mate up to one of those, because an exhaust can for a camper, I don't know, it's a couple of £100 now, whereas these, 2 a penny. Pick them up for 25 quid, because the guys that have these on the bikes don't like them. They want to fit carbon fibre things, so they just unbolt their silencer. But they were brilliant on campers. And I've noticed just about everybody across the country now drives around with campers with bike exhaust. That was me. And the same with painting your camper with a roller. That was me. Yeah, there's been a few of those, and various mods that I've done to campers over the years that can all be found in the wiki of Club 8090 online. Yeah, under the alias Covkid. That's me. Anyway, that's by the by. It's great that people are sharing that kind of information. There was this trolley that was left over from my dad's house. I don't know, it may come in useful, but I've still got an awful lot to sort out on this side. But I thought today, if I can get these shelves in and start unpacking my tools a bit, this cabinet's absolutely brilliant for things like this. You know, tap and die sets, all of that. I've got just about everything I need there. The only thing is, I think, you know, thinking about my dad's sheet music, that, you know, when I'm popping my clogs, my lad's going to end up chucking all this stuff probably, and so the cycle of life goes on. So this is partly why I really wanted to get him interested in this Beetle, and he'll have to learn how it all comes apart, and in the process he will start to understand what these tools are for, because the only way, you know, he's doing okay at college, he's doing engineering, but you cannot really learn which tools do which job unless you're actually hands-on and do it. Any engineer will tell you that. Anyway, that's enough for in here. Right, it's time for mailbox, and this will only really interest people that are into Volkswagens. And when I say Volkswagens, I mean classic Volkswagens. And it's strange how I got into them. My first wife, Deborah, it was all right. I've got nothing bad to say about her at all, to be honest. She was a nice lass, but it didn't work out. Anyway, she got, when she passed her driving test, her brother said, because her brother lived in London, she actually came from the East End of London. Cool, blimey, mate. Can't beat girls that come from the East End of London. There's something about them. Anyway, her brother said to her, well, I've got a car. He said, well, I know of a car, rather. It's just around the corner. He said, it even comes with a spare tyre. It's a Beetle. And we knew nothing about them anyway. Arranged to have it collected. And as it turned out, it needed nothing more than the nuts doing up on the engine, putting some petrol in it and a battery on it, and it fired up. And the rest is history. And I've owned a few Volkswagens since. Certainly several. I've owned one Bay and at least 3 T25s or T3s, whatever you want to call them. But I've got a couple of jobs on mine. The engine I'm alright with, because I've got a full engine gasket kit, and I'm more than happy to strip that down. But the gearbox, well, that's a different matter. And if I can just get all this bubble wrap off, I'll show you. These are the tools you need to get into a VW gearbox, or at least a T25 camper one. Yeah, it's all in good nick, just oily, no marks on it. Yeah, they're all the tools I need. And I bought these from a fella called Ivor from Wales. I don't know whether I didn't check. Did he come from South Wales or North Wales? North, I think, probably. God's country, and that's a terrible Welsh accent. More like Pakistani. Yeah, anyway, when he put them on, I was the quickest to click on them. I said, I'll have them, because I've been after these for many, many years. And they will go amongst all the other tools in my garage. Yes, so good find of the day. I'm really pleased with those. And finally, and this may have appeared in an earlier video, I think I was just tuning around the dial, this is a Yaesu FRG-7700 shortwave listening set receiver. Don't call them radios, they call them receivers. And I've included this in Rail Sounds this week because I was talking to Graham, Radio Cruncher, and if you haven't seen his channel, go and check it out on YouTube, it's really good. I spend my Sunday afternoons watching Graham in with his head inside a radio set. Anyway, I was talking about this because I inherited it from my dad, and I thought what I would do is we'll lift the cover off so he can have a nose at it. I have a feeling all the display, all the frequencies seem to work. I think it needs a bit of a service, but and probably a better aerial, I think, but I'd really like to get it checked out by somebody who knows what they're doing, and he has offered if I get stuck, and I think I may well do, but I just thought I'd show you this. If I go across to the, where's the screws? That to me looks like these screws have never been out, or if they have, they've only been out once. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the cover off this, and then we'll just have a look around it. It's more for his reference than mine, but it appears to have all the memory stuff on it, and that all seems to work. But I'll take out that last screw, and then we'll lift the cover off and we'll have a look. Well, I don't think anyone's ever been inside this. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. There doesn't seem to be any evidence of it. But it would be good if I got it checked out with somebody who listens to shortwave a lot and knows what to expect on all the bands and can check that this is actually functioning correctly. It may well be. It could be. I don't think my aerial's as good as it ought to be. I'm going to throw out a long wire at some point this week to see if I can get any better reception on it. But it was my dad's, and we both sort of came into the world of crystal sets as youngsters, and it stuck with us. You find this with ham radio enthusiasts, that they started on shortwave with crystal sets, and the bug stuck. I can't really sort of go beyond this. I don't know why some models were branded as Summer Camp and some were Yaesu. I've no explanation for that. I did try and find out, but to no joy. Anyway, we're only looking at the top board here. But there, let's just give a general look across the whole board. Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever been in here. There doesn't seem to be any evidence of it. It looks like it was when it came out the factory, I presume. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the inside of that, and I wouldn't normally include it in Rail Sounds, but radios are increasingly becoming a part of Rail Sounds. I'll be coming back to the Bushstack 10 in the next one. I've got a couple more capacitors to replace in that. Now, I'm a novice to electronics, but I am grasping more and more every week. Partly watching Graham, Radio Cruncher, partly watching Big Clive. He's got a way of explaining circuits that almost anybody can understand. And interestingly, this week, my son said, "Dad, you got an electric guitar, haven't you?" I said, "Yes." I wouldn't mind playing that. And I had a little small practice amp, pink of all colours, but anyway, it's branded Vox, and it worked last time I used it. Anyway, when he came to fire it, he said, "It doesn't work, Dad." So I stripped it down, and there just didn't seem to be any power to the circuit. So I thought, well, let's start with the on-off switch. And sure enough, there was no continuity, whichever way you switch it. And I didn't have any switch cleaner, so I gave it a good blast with GT85, which is a kind of silicon lubricant, and flicked it backwards and forwards a few times. Hey presto, the set worked. So a bit of a simple diagnosis, I suppose, but you know, I was quite pleased with that. And I feel reasonably confident with the Bushstack 10, and That's got mains voltage in that. You've got to really watch what you're doing. So there you go, Graham. That's the inside of the summer camp. Did they go there in the summer and camp, do you think? Anyway. And he's one of my subscribers. Pleased with that. Thank you for that, Graham. Thumbs up. That's what it was. Anyway, that's it for Raoul's house this week. I've got a few things I was hoping to include, but I haven't really got time in this one. It's run on long enough. As usual, like or dislike if you like, I don't mind. Leave a comment below. I value those, I always do, and even the negative ones, don't mind those either. That's what it's all about. And thank you very much for my new subscribers, because you know we've gone up about 20, I think, in the last month. Very appreciative of that. And it turns out there are some people in the world that are into Volkswagens and into old radios. So I'm not unique. You know, we're all a bit eclectic, aren't we? So that's it for this week, and see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.